Hello dear all and welcome to the review of the Sony 100 to 400mm. You have to spend $2,500 and we tested the lens on the Sony Alpha A7R IV. Thanks to Ulrich, he's working for Lufthansa as an Airbus A380 pilot. Make sure to check out his Instagram profile. You can rent this lens from a GM Photo in Frankfurt near the central station. You have to carry 1400 grams around with you, but you have also covered a huge focal length range. This lens runs from f4.5 to 5.6. It feels solid and valuable. The tripod clamp can be turned 360 degrees. On the side you can switch between autofocus and manual focus. Turn the image stabilizer on and off, and you also have the focus hold button. The zoom ring has two settings. This should make zooming either slower or faster, but we found the resistance too hard. The focus ring, on the other hand, runs very softly, ideal for filmmakers and bokeh enthusiasts. The great thing about Sony lenses is that they produce virtually no chromatic aberrations. These photos are available for download. The link can be found in the video description. We could not spot any chromatic aberrations. Vignetting should not be present as long as you use the camera's internal correction. If you're not convinced, use Adobe Lightroom and the problem, if it is one, will be fixed within a few seconds. The next topic is about lens flaring. Here's an example at 100mm and the next example at 400mm. Basically, you always have these small spots around the sensor center. So an absolutely great performance. Actually, I'm here to have a critical look at products which I'm reviewing. Until now, there's nothing bad to say, well, almost nothing. To make it not too easy for this lens, I took these photos in the dark. I used a tripod and all pictures were taken at ISO 100. My target was 1.5 kilometers away, which is 0.93 miles. And this is what it looks like. No matter at which aperture or focal length you take these pictures, it doesn't get sharper than this. You can download these photos, the link is in the video description below. Let's speak about autofocus. So in photo mode, absolutely fast, and I only used this lens on the Sony A7R IV. Sport photographers will notice that the tracking on the Sony A9 works with 20 frames per second. In video mode, it sometimes took a while longer until the camera followed. Not at all times, but often the camera could even track the eyes. I think the reason why this didn't always work perfectly was that it wasn't a dog or a cat. The distance was about 50 meters, which is about 165 feet. Let's stay in the nature. This lens is of course the highlight for any animal photographer or filmmaker. You need a lot of light because it makes a big difference if you use an aperture of f2.8 or f5.6. Not only the price but also the weight. You will be happy enough if you take your pictures and videos at daytime. Since we didn't shoot any sport on that day, let us tell you that you can't go wrong with this lens for sport photography. With a focal length of 100 to 400mm you can of course make great portraits, but for the church not really recommendable because of the aperture. If you plan to take pictures of weddings. For details you can step 1 meter, which is about 3.3 feet, to your subjects. This is what a macro photo looks like, taken with the Sony A7R IV and the Sony 100 to 400mm. Nice bokeh and completely isolated from the background. Regarding the zoom, I had already said that the zoom ring could run a little smoother. For you, we still have a focal length comparison: 100mm, 200mm and 400mm. Enough zoom for plane spotters or spies. Of course, you need a good image stabilizer for these focal lengths. And you get one, ideal for longer shutter speeds if you don't have a tripod with you, but also for video recordings. Here's a comparison between on and off. The best part at the end. The Bokeh is an absolutely eye-catcher. 9 aperture blades ensure round bokeh balls, also great for portraits as long as you have enough ambient light. Time for a conclusion. This lens is an absolutely brilliant lens for spotters, animal photographers, sport photographers, or even filmmakers. For $2,500 you get a lens that technically leaves the competition behind, and the results speak for themselves. The only blemish was the zoom ring, which was simply much too hard. But it could also be because this lens is a rental lens and has already gone through a lot more. If you're not convinced yet, just borrow it. GM Photo in Frankfurt has it. Do you use this lens for yourself? I'm curious for what, and especially what do you think about the performance? With this in mind, I wish you a lot of fun with the sample files and see you very soon from Frankfurt.